4-year-old girl. Before the age of 4, she was removed from her family and shuffled through foster homes. But at the age of 4, she was adopted. It was because of her adoption that she knew what it meant to have a true, loving family. It was this same feeling that she yearned for as she stood before a large building just 5 years later. Anxiety crept into her heart as she thought, would I find my place again? But all of her anxiety quickly rushed away as she walked through the front doors and smiling face upon smiling face greeted the girl that is now named Reese. As you may have guessed, I was that little girl, and that place that filled me with such peace was, and still is, St. Mary's Springs Academy. It is this feeling that has caused me to say time and time again that Springs is a family. But it's not just some cliched phrase that myself and others throw around on the ledge, but rather it is ingrained in every single thing that we do. First and foremost, our core values, which are faith, community, respect, responsibility, leadership, and learning. But I'm not here to give you a list because I'm sure you've heard it before, and like me, many of you could probably recite it. But rather, I'm here to explain to you how this saying, Springs is family, is played out in every single thing that we do. Our first example comes from a tragic event earlier this school year. When a high school student passed away, the entire high school was stopped in its tracks. As 14 to 18-year-olds, we find ourselves prone to thinking that we are invincible. So when that commonly held belief is challenged, we don't know what to do. So we did the one thing we always were taught. We prayed. We prayed individually, at home with our families, as a school community, and even as sports teams with local public schools. One student from campus ministry wanted to take things a step further, and so he started a rosary the Thursday after the accident. He asked people to come in at 7:30 in the morning, which, for those of you that don't know, high school doesn't start until 8:20. So that's almost an hour, and high schoolers need that hour, quite frankly. But we packed the chapel, and we prayed to Our Lady of the Ledge, not only that Thursday, but every Thursday since. It's a great reminder that not only are we a part of the Springs family, but more importantly, God's family. But how does one keep this feeling of family when we're far apart? I, as I'm sure many of you did as well, deeply felt the separation caused by COVID-19. I am a very extroverted person, so when I couldn't go to the store, the park, school, I couldn't give a high five, a handshake, or a hug, I didn't know what to do, and I found myself falling into a depression. As I laid in bed every morning wondering, how could this be? What can I do to feel better? I decided, what if I switched schools? I toured local schools virtually. I talked to other students and other administrators and seriously considered, what if I don't graduate as a Ledger for life? But then virtual learning started, and I saw how quickly my teachers adapted to this new style of teaching and how much they cared about reminding students like me that even from a distance, we are a family. Another example from that time comes with high school Spanish teacher, Senora Thiel, who you always tell us to be loud. Come on. Yup, there's Senora. So Senora, anybody that knows her, now you will all know this as well, loves birthdays. I'm not kidding, loves birthdays. In fact, earlier this school year, I stood before my Spanish 4 class with a sombrero on my head as she sung to me in not one, not two, but 3 languages. There is videographic evidence. I was mortified. But I also know that's how Senora shows her love. And that's the same love her coworkers wanted to show her when her birthday fell during the middle of the pandemic. So they didn't just send her a text or post something on Facebook. They showed up to her house and put a sign in her yard to remind her that at Springs, our teachers are more than their job title. Because that's precisely what it means to be a part of the Springs family. I know that as a student, I am more than a statistic or a number. But all of these things I am saying are just words. So I want to give you this video that I think perfectly articulates everything that I've said. So if you'll watch this for a moment.
Starting to see that we're onto something. Feel it coming, we'll keep running. Nothing in our way, and we got no reason to wait. Let the journey take you where it wants to. We'll continue to find our way through anything we face. We got what it takes. Here we go. Starting to see that we're onto something. Feel it coming now. Here we go. All we need is nothing and a chance to see a never-ending world that's beautiful. Here we go with the sunlight on our skin. It's a brand new day. It's ours to take it. We will.
So I stand before you today, not to brag about St. Mary Springs Academy, although I could for days, but rather to thank you. Everything you saw in that video and every instance of family that I mentioned is thanks to you. Because of your support, I get to show up to school every day knowing that I can be a student, an athlete, an actress, a daughter of Christ, and so much more. It is because of your generous support that I will be attending St. Norbert College next year to obtain degrees in secondary education and English, to follow in the footsteps of my amazing teachers, just as they followed Christ as a teacher, a mentor, and as a friend. And so I stand before you today, not only as senior Reese Newman, but also as Teresa, that 4-year-old girl who never could have dreamed of the opportunities that your generosity has afforded me. So I leap into the next phase of my life, inspired by my roots at St. Mary Springs Academy, confident that along with each and every one of you, I will always be a part of the Ledger family. Have a great night. Thank you.